Here's a little fun fact from NFL research. 11 of the 12 playoff teams in 2019, they won week 1 of last year. So almost everybody out of the gate with a W. The only one who didn't, well, that's the Houston Texans, who fell to the Saints on Monday Night Football, and then they fell to the Chiefs this year on Thursday Night Football. No, it was not Thursday. Yes, it was Thursday Night Football to start the season. Hey, what day is it? Days don't even exist anymore, right? Hey, friendly reminder, 2020 will be the first season under the new 14-team playoff format, so you're going to hear a lot about the expanded playoffs, the teams that are going to get in now. And of course, everybody's trying to get in. Let's flash back to last season. It feels like 37 years ago. And look at the 12 teams that made the playoffs. The Ravens and Chiefs were the top 2 seeds in the AFC, while the Packers and the Niners, they led the NFC. Of course, the Browns, they're one team looking to finally make the playoffs, trying to get in for the first time since 2002. New coach Kevin Stefanski announced Friday that he'll be calling plays. He's trying to kickstart a team that really underachieved like whoa last season. Their season, it begins tomorrow in Baltimore, where John Harbaugh has an eye on the Browns' backfield that is just brimming with talent.
We're going to go against the Browns. They're a really good running team. They've got a big physical offensive line. They have, they by their own account, the 2 best backs in football, and not just this year, but going back historically, that's been said in their camp. So I can see why. I mean, they've got 2 great running backs. The run game is going to be important to them. That's Coach Stefanski's bread and butter.
All right, so John Harbaugh there, not the only one focused on the Browns running game. You too, D-Hall, huh?
Absolutely, Colleen. I'm focused on that Browns running game. Just think about what Kevin Stefanski likes to do. He loves to run the football and then set up the play action pass downfield. It tends to help those quarterbacks out a lot. We saw it with Kirk Cousins. So, yes, when you talk about having Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt as a 1-2 punch, man, he telling his dudes the right thing. He better tell them players, watch out for those 2 guys because they run angry. Those dudes are hard to bring down, and they catch the football out the backfield. So definitely look for those Browns running backs to have a big impact on this game.
Week 4 last season, Nick Chubb went wild. I feel like he had 3,000 rushing yards. He had 3 touchdowns. That was a 40-25 Browns win for them. I mean, he just was running all over the place. And this Ravens team, they invested heavily in their front 7 in the offseason, especially after what happened to them in the playoffs with Derrick Henry. And they traded for one of the top run stuffers in the entire league, in Calais Campbell. They signed Derek Wolfe, who I love not just because his last name is Wolf with an E, but because he's incredible at what he does, and he's able to win up front. And then they drafted 2 of the top inside linebackers in Patrick Queen and Malik Harrison. Plus, they have Brandon Williams already there. So I am really, really interested to see how this run defense really transforms with the different pieces that they have there now, Jeezy.
You've got that Vikings Wolf jersey. It's crazy to me that you don't have a Derek Wolf jersey. We're going to have to correct that before the end of the season, Colleen. But you're right about that defensive front. And what they did was they added veterans, and they also added guys that have versatility. Guys that you can, I mean, Calais Campbell, you can play him all along the line. Derek Wolfe, you can move him inside as a pass rusher as well. You've got Brandon Williams, who they just tinkered with his contract because they want to keep him for the next couple of years here. So you've got a really strong, really versatile defensive front, and I think that that's going to be a huge factor here in this game and the entire season for the Ravens.
Yeah, guys, a very versatile defensive front for the Baltimore Ravens. And traditionally throughout the years, the Baltimore Ravens, you knew exactly what their identity was on the defensive side of the football. That's who they were. I'm looking for that same unique, distinct offense on the offensive side of the ball, and Greg Roman and Lamar Jackson continue to do what makes Lamar Jackson special. You guys have heard me all offseason talk about in the playoffs last year how the Baltimore Ravens tried to throw the ball and it got all out of whack, and they just didn't do what made them special during the season. Check this out, guys. On over 70% of their plays, it's either a run play or a play action pass. That's #1 in the National Football League. They run the option on almost 40% of their plays, guys. 40% of their plays, they're putting the ball in the running back's belly, and a defense has to decide whether the running back is getting the ball or whether this dynamic MVP quarterback is getting the ball, who, oh, yeah, by the way, rushed for over 1,200 yards last year, which would have been top 10 amongst running backs. So Greg Roman, Baltimore Ravens, just keep letting this kid be dynamic and unleash him. Don't change nothing up. Don't try to be anything different.
This is one of the offenses I'm most excited to see on the field. I am interested to see if anything changes because they lost Marshall Yanda on the offensive line and how things change bringing in J.K. Dobbins, the rookie running back, with Mark Ingram, if that means maybe less designed runs for Lamar Jackson. Who knows? But whatever happens, just keep doing what you did last year because it worked, except at the end against the Titans, of course. Okay, so Cleveland, they open against a division rival this week, and then they got another AFC North opponent on deck next week. The Browns do, that is, because they are playing the Bengals on Thursday Night Football, and you can catch it right here on NFL Network. Welcome back to Good Morning Football Weekend. We've been asking you guys for your crystal football predictions, reactions. Les's Roar. In a shocking development, Les's Roar really likes Mike Garafolo's pick for the Lions to win the division.
There you go.
Obviously a Lions fan there. I like it too. I'm not going to lie. That brings us, though, to Mike Garafolo for a little mic drop where he opens up his reporter's notebook, empties it out for us. I don't know if he actually has a physical reporter's notebook, but I feel like he's definitely keeping notes somewhere, right? Oh, wow.
There it is. And usually we do multiple items, but I really want to spend the bulk of this time on Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears because I want to get both of these guys' reactions because I know that they're disparate reactions. But here's the point. Mitchell Trubisky honestly, truly did win this quarterback competition. I thought what D'Angelo said earlier in the show, which is that they're really going to lean toward him and they want him to succeed. They traded up for him. They put so much stock in him, so they're going to lean that way. But all the conversations I've had is that Trubisky had a really good camp and legitimately beat out Nick Foles for this job. And one of the things that the Bears are seeing right now, and remember the lights haven't gone on yet, so we'll see how this happens in the regular season, is really an improved confidence. And that goes to this offseason because he held throwing sessions with his teammates. He had a lot of communication with his teammates. They all really backed him up and instilled the confidence in him. The other thing is he went to a new throwing coach to check out the mechanics, and really what they came away with is that the mechanics were fine as well. So that kind of built up his confidence, saying, hey, I've really got a good base from which to work here. So look, if he struggles, Nick Foles is going to be the starting quarterback. I understand that. But I'm just telling you from this standpoint, with this coaching staff, which, by the way, added John DeFilippo and Bill Lazor, two guys who have seen really good quarterback play elsewhere, including Nick Foles. So you think that would have helped Foles get the job. Trubisky legitimately won the job. Mike, Rob?
Yeah, I hear you, GZ. But they did do all that they had to do to move up in the draft to get him. So from my perspective, from my opinion, yeah, they were going to make sure that he had every opportunity to win the starting job. That's number one. Number two, if you start off the season with Nick Foles as your starting quarterback, you almost can't go to Trubisky after that. So when you really think about it, guys, this was actually the only logical way to go. I mean, for real, just think about it. Think about it.
Rob, think about this, though. How about we both could be kind of right and wrong? It could be a situation. I'm saying Mitchell Trubisky is going to look different the way I feel about everything that's come out of camp. But maybe this is something where Nick Foles has looked that bad. You know, you think about Nick Foles the last time down in Jacksonville. Gardner Minshew beat him out for that spot. And so he comes here, and yes, we think that him and Matt Nagy's relationship will win out, but maybe Mitchell Trubisky does look better.
This is a situation we will continue to talk about. This won't be the last time we talk Bears quarterback, so save your thoughts. We'll see who winds up being right. And one more note here that I want to get to, a little bit of a micro note, but it's going to be interesting. So in Tampa Bay, they've been shuffling in and out kickers the last couple of years. They signed Ryan Suckup. He's still getting his legs underneath him, although he has improved since he showed up in Tampa. But one of the things they did recently is they had Bradley Pinion, their punter, kick from beyond 50 yards. They wanted to see his length. Now, usually he's the holder for field goals, but they wanted to see if he can hit one. So, Mike Robb, I want to watch this Tampa Bay situation, because if you're not confident beyond 50 of Suckup, with Suckup, then what are you going to do? Do you potentially use Pinion? That could be something we could see at some point this season. But now, with Brady in this offense, if you've got a 3rd and long and you're on the edge of field goal range, what do you do? How do you manage that? Do you try to get a manageable 4th down and then go for that? This is going to be a really interesting situation that Bruce Arians and the Buccaneers are going to manage. But I will not be surprised if we see Bradley Pinion, the punter, punt, kick off, and try field goals at some point in a game this season. You don't usually see that unless somebody gets hurt.
I love you, Jeezy.
Wow. Hey, the more you can do, right? Best ability, availability. That's what they always say. There's so many unknowns this season. We'll get some, at least some answers to some of our questions coming up this weekend, but we'll also get some answers to our fantasy questions right now.
Hey guys, it's me, Adam Rank. You never know quite what you're going to get. Too at or not too at. I hear you fancy yourself a fantasy enthusiast. Ready to get your lineup pumped up? Yeah, they'll crush it for you, trust me. What? Good luck to you. Don't at me. Make sure he is in your lineup.
Adam Rank is back with us live this season. Oh my goodness, he's on the open seas out there in Los Angeles, I guess. Is that the Pacific? I don't know. I don't know what body of water that would be, but I like your ship. That's cool. Looks good, Rank. So let's get into some fantasy stuff here. I'm wondering about, we've been talking about the Bucs and the Saints all morning long. What's the deal with their new running back, the Bucs' new running back, Leonard Fournette? Are you going to put him in your fantasy lineup? That's something that I feel like I'd stay away from, perhaps.
Well, allow me to say ahoy, me hearties, and shiver me timbers, because Captain Rankbeard is here to pillage your prop budgets. And of course, I am out here on these rough fantasies, our little pirate humor. Wow. But Leonard Fournette, we love him. We love him down in Tampa Bay. Remember that scurvy dog Bruce Arians might have promised us that Ronald Jones was going to be the running back, but here comes Leonard Fournette. And let us not forget, last year he had 76 receptions. So, of course, it may be rough seas in the beginning of the season, but he is going to be fantasy gold.
Hey, Rank, you might want to reboot your router because you're flickering there. I don't know what they call that.
They call it flickering.
Good job.
Even here on the
fantasies. Rank, it's kind of amazing how natural this character comes to you. So let's move on to Marvin Jones. Is this a guy that, look, sometimes he's good, other times he's not, but with Kenny Golladay, doubtful. Are you adding him? Are you putting him in your lineup?
I'm sorry, Lassie, I'm not familiar with the name. Oh, do you mean Marvin Jones? Yes. He has averaged 3.5 receptions, 62 yards in his last couple of contests against the Chicago Bears. But last year, 8 receptions, 114 yards in 2 games. But as you said, no Kenny Golladay there. That means Kenny Fuller will draw full coverage on him, which means he is going to be shut down. So Marvin Jones is a treasure. Make no doubt about that. But we're going to have to drop him in the seas for right now to return later to use him in our starting lineups.
I'm just so surprised that you even have any type of internet connection out there on the ocean. That's kind of wild. Okay, what about our quarterback here, Jimmy G? Will he provide fantasy treasure for owners out there?
There are those who will say Jimmy G could not hit water if you threw him off the side of the boat, but I don't listen to them because this matchup against the Arizona Cardinals is a good one. Jimmy Garoppolo threw for almost 4,000 yards last year. 800 of those, here or there, came against the Arizona Cardinals with 8. touchdowns. So it's hard to see with this thing on, but he's fantasy gold to me. Start him this week in your DFS. And all this gold that we robbed from the Imperial Palace shall be yours.
Switch eyes.
Our props budget is just bleeding. Bleeding right now. We love you, Rank. This is my favorite part is when we get Rank to break character. It's the absolute best.
Time to go to commercial.
Adam, Rank, nailed it again.